Okay, we're going to move on and look at Rambling Rose. That's this lovely block here. And I'm going to just look at a couple of things on this block, because if you look at it, you'll notice, like as an example, the centre here is very similar to how we started Daylily. So you can have a look at Daylily if you're struggling at all around there. And if you look at the outside here, we've got those sort of very familiar treble two together kind of splayed leaves, and we used that on all of the blocks, and we covered them again on Daylily and also on Anemone. So you've already covered those. So what I'd like to look at on this one in particular is these spike stitches in the blue here, and we've got a little bit of something going on here with this dark green around the edge. If I flip this over, what I'm really interested in, I guess, is the foundation parts, the stuff you can see here at the back. So the blue and the dark green. So I'm just going to take you through those parts of this particular block. Now, as always, if you're still struggling or if there's something else you want to try and understand, do get in touch with us via email. The email address is on the back of your pattern, or you can get in touch with us via the website. Do not struggle, get in touch. We're always keen to help anyone out with a problem with the pattern. Okay, so let's get going. Right, I'm here. I've done rounds 1 to 6 already. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at round 7, and I'm going to be using double denim. Now, round 7 is where we make those lovely long spike stitches. That's what I'm really interested to show you on this particular round. So I'm going to be working into the gap here that's at the top of any puff that we've made in the I think that's round 3, is it? Yeah, round 3. So at the top of any make puff here, or MP, I'm going to just put my hook all the way through. Okay, I'm not working in front of anything. I can't actually work in front of anything here. It's going all the way through because I actually want my yarn to stay round the whole edge of the work. And I don't know if you noticed that I've left a much longer tail than I normally would have, and the reason for that is there is a bit more opportunity for the tail to come loose here. So let me just show you what I mean. So my yarn is around my hook in the normal way that we've used to join in new yarn, and I'm going to pull the yarn through, but if I pull it through the kind of level that we'd normally expect, I can't get to that over the top of my work. So I need to pull it all the way up to the edge of the work to make this longer chain. Okay, this will be a spike stitch. Now, because we've got a large loop there, it's much easier for it to come undone. So try pinching that loop that you've made to stop anything happening to it. So if I've pulled through my second loop there, you can see it is really loose. Not much we can do, but do not worry because it will tighten up as we go along. I've just got my finger kind of holding onto that yarn and clamping it on the back just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. That's the trickiest part of this round, just that bit. Okay, so that is the equivalent of a spike double crochet UK terminology, spike single crochet US terminology. So I'm just going to do 8 chain now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. I felt okay to let go of it there, but I am just going to keep my eye on it. I'm going to skip the stitch that I've now covered up by making that spike double crochet and the next 6 stitches, and what that means, I've also skipped the next puff stitch. All right, so I've started above this one, I'm missing this one, I'm doing nothing at all here, and my next little spike stitch is going to be above this one here. Okay, so I'm just going to take my hook, go into the gap above that puff, and make another spike stitch. There's a lot of ends getting in the way here. It's early on a Monday morning. Right, pulling up that particular loop there, and again making sure that it comes all the way to the edge with no pulling. I don't want to kind of pull in this circle. I want it to remain circle shaped. That's all I'm going to do all the way around. So 8 again. Okay, I'm skipping this make puff and I'm coming into the top of this next one here to make the spike stitch. So once you're underway, it's really easy. So it's really only that first bit that's the issue. All right, I'm going to do that all the way around. Okay, and my last 8 chain leads me back to the beginning, and I'm going to join into the chain that's sitting at the top of that loop. Okay, I'm just going to put my hook through there and join. Okay, now if I just put that down, what you'll see has happened is I've sort of effectively outlined the circle, and we've got these spokes going in, which are the spike stitches. That is the first sort of phase of our foundation that I want to show you for this particular block, and it's not complicated. So it's just, my tip for this is leave a longer tail than you would normally, hold on to that as you work around, and just be aware of where you're going to be joining at the end. That's all that is complicated about that one, which is lovely. It's a nice way to ease into this block. So let us fasten off and move on. Before I leave this round, I'm just going to show you, I'm just about to sew the ends in. So I've turned that over. You will see the end for the spike stitch is really loose, so you could choose to sew that in anywhere, but I am going to choose to keep the tension on it by sewing it in around the top edge of the chains. Those chains are going to be covered, so it doesn't matter if one of them looks a tiny bit bulkier, as long as you're sort of careful with it. Oh, I can't even thread my needle today. Let's try that one again. There we go. So I'm going to take the yarn up to the top. Rather than sew it round in the centre, I'm going to take it up to the top just to mimic and keep the tension on that spike stitch from the front. All right, so if I just give that a little pull, it'll keep the tension nicely on this spike stitch. All right, so I'm going to, I've done that, and I'm just going to weave it through the chain around the edge. That's my choice. You can obviously, if this works, if it doesn't work for you, or you think it's you can find a way of doing it in your way that's probably better, go ahead. That's just how I am choosing to do this. In case you can't choose, there you go, give it a go that way. All right, so that's just that end, but if you can probably, you know, you can kind of not really tell now. All right, so that's that.